Hello, everybody, and welcome to a sad Saturday night edition of LFC Transfer Room. I do apologise for the delay. It's not because, or it might have been actually, it's not because we've all been crying and trying to build ourselves up to this stream. It was because my curry order was wrong. And if it was my order, I would have just sucked it up. But it was my wife's order. So there's no way, no chance in hell I'm ever going to get my wife's curry order wrong because it's just not worth it. All right, so I do apologise, but you can blame the curry house. On this very sad and sombre Saturday, I think we're coming to terms with the news that Jurgen Klopp obviously has said that he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. I do apologise if that's breaking news for anyone, but if you've been living under a rock for the past 24 hours, that is exactly what is happening. We are going to look at the Klopp fallout, but I do want us to be positive and I do want us to celebrate everything that Jurgen Klopp has done and also talk about perhaps his successor, as well as maybe, having a little bit of time spending on the match preview, because obviously at the time, Saturday nights are all for match previews and we've got a massive game tomorrow against Norwich. And thank you all for joining us. Hello to Jay, hello to Helior, and hello to everybody else, DeAndre as well. I'm going to go around the houses then, and I'm going to ask how everybody is, and I think they'll all probably give a similar or a stock answer. But Dean, I'll come down to you, buddy. How are you?
You can hazard a guess. I'm still recovering. I'm kind of in shock still, even now. I've got Valverde in it. It's making me upset at the same time. I definitely haven't ordered the Peloton bike, sponsored by Jurgen. But yeah, I'm just trying to focus on the rest of the season. I think that's what the lads are trying to focus on as well. I think that's the best way of going about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's smiles and I personally am really glad that Klopp gets to go out on his own terms. Obviously, we all wish that he wouldn't, but he goes out on his own terms, and I cannot wait for the rest of this season because every game is a cup final from now on. I think that these lads are going to give absolutely everything to make sure that Klopp wins the lot. And I don't even think they take their own personal values into it. I just think that they're going to go to war for 90, 100 minutes every single game and make sure that Klopp leaves with a legacy that he deserves. Carter, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Last night I was out after the news, and I was sad when I heard it in the morning. Like, it was obviously a bit like, oh my god, it was kind of like shock. Well, it was more shock, to be honest. And then I was out. I wasn't too bad. I come home and I was just lying in bed and I was like, I can't believe it. Like, he's like Trent's dad. Like, he's been there so long. He's like Curtis Jones' dad. Like, he's been there so long. He's such like a big part of the club. And just thinking, like, I'm only 22. Like, he's been there for such a significant like amount of my following. So it was just when I was just lying on my own, I was just like, I was like, wow. Like, it didn't really hit me. Like, I think for a lot of people, it might sort of next few days, and probably at the Norwich game, it's going to hit a lot of people.
Yeah, so I'm a school teacher, as most of you know, and when the news broke, I was actually teaching my year 11s, and I hope there's no complaints because I did swear. I did look at my phone when the Paul the Joyce came out, and I did swear, and it was like, what? So is everything okay? And then I told them, and they were like, he has literally been manager, like, bear in mind these are 16-year-olds, since I was like 6 or 7 years old. For most of their lifetime, all they've known is Jurgen Klopp. So, for them, we've seen, perhaps Paul and I, sorry, Paul, to tarnish you with the same old brush as what I am, but we have seen some greats come and go. But really, for the younger generation, this is everything that they've known. This isn't anything that is out of the blue. We're not a Man United. We're not a Chelsea. We're not a club who recycles. We keep hold of our managers if they're good enough. So, Paul, for you, we've seen so many great managers under the Liverpool crest. But for me, he's second to Shankly, and that's not a slight on Bob Paisley at all. But Bob Paisley obviously took over a Shankly team. Hopefully, whoever comes in can replicate what Paisley did after Shankly. But again, how did you receive the news? What is there going forwards?
Well, because of the time difference here in Canada, obviously when the news broke, I was sleeping. So when I wake up, look on my phone as usual, and I exclaimed. My wife said to me, "What? What happened?" And I just said, "Klopp." She says, "Klopp, Liverpool manager?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "What happened?" I said, "He's leaving." She said, "Oh, I thought he was dead or something." you know. So I've had better days, better week, but I think we will get over this. Our club is in a very solid position. It's way better than the club was when club took over. That time we were in shambles. So there is some hope. This right now, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best opening in football. So any manager worth their salt would relish this opportunity to come to Liverpool. And I'm kind of glad that he's leaving now and not last year, because last year it would have been a difficult period for a new manager with all the problems we had in our midfield and finishing fifth, which is not what we were accustomed to and stuff like that. But now with this rebuild and with this abundance of talent, I am a little bit more hopeful that we will continue to win, continue to be competitive if we choose the right manager. And I think there are a couple of managers out there that would fit the bill. Of course, we all think Xabi Alonso is the heir apparent and we would like him, but there are some others too. So I am a little bit disappointed, but you know what? I'm very hopeful and I'm really happy that, as somebody said, that he gets to leave under his own terms and he wasn't fired. Or it wasn't even a case like Arsene Wenger, who was a great manager but stayed on a little bit too long. And, so I'm kind of getting over it.
Yeah, and Klopp, I was actually looking for the direct quote before I butcher it, and unfortunately I couldn't find it. But I think for me, when he says, he actually said right at the start of his tenure at Liverpool that he would, for him, it's always more important what people say about him when he leaves, and the legacy that he's left. And he's 100% left the legacy. He's left such a great squad for whoever it is to come in and inherit. And so many managers can't say that. Like, so many managers, one, don't leave on their own terms in the Premier League, and two, they don't leave with an equipped team. You look back at Manchester United and say Sir Alex Ferguson is the best Premier League manager ever, and he probably is in terms of like silverware. Did he leave David Moyes with the best squad? Did he leave David Moyes with a squad that Klopp is leaving whoever the apparent heir is going to be? I don't think so. So for me, that just speaks volumes of Jurgen Klopp. I'm going to go to the comments now, though, because there's some really, really good comments in here, as always, from Helia and from Jay, etc. Xabi Alonso is the outstanding candidate, according to Melissa Reddy, to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. Melissa Reddy would be staggered if it wasn't him. The only issue is that he is quite sought after. I mean, I personally don't think Madrid would ditch Ancelotti to grab Alonso. Not at this moment in time. And if they did, listen, I'd be more than happy for Carlo Ancelotti to come in because I think he's an absolutely elite manager. It does look as though Xabi Alonso is the favourite, Dean. And I think, when we're talking about Xabi Alonso, he looks like the perfect fit. We were just discussing actually on the chat about how he sets up his Leverkusen team. He didn't inherit a good Leverkusen team at all. I think they were second from bottom when he took over. He got them in the Europa League. He's now top of the Bundesliga. Is he the one for you?
Yeah, I think the majority of the fan base are in agreement. He's got that credit in the bank already, hasn't he? With Liverpool fans being a former player and a good player at that. There gives you a checklist in regards to the Liverpool manager, and he meets a lot of it. You need a young manager, because that's what FSG do. They like a young manager at the start. They want someone who can speak multiple languages. He can do that. You want someone who can develop young players. He's doing that and done that already. And then you want someone who can play a very good, attractive style of football, as we were just on about. Very, very attractive style of football. And an added bonus, especially in regards to Klopp, someone who could take down a big team. Touch wood, as it stands, he's currently doing that against Bayern Munich with limited resources at that. So he is the one that you go immediately go, yeah, Bayern Munich will want him eventually. Real Madrid will want him eventually. So why shouldn't we want him? And I think the sample size pool is very short, or very small, sorry. in regards to replacements. I know we've discussed it over the last 24 hours. Who else? If we couldn't have Xabi Alonso, who else do you go for? And then it's like the Brighton manager. Exciting football. I like him, but he's only been in this league a season and a half. It's a very small sample size. And like I say, it's a mid-table side as much as they have been relatively impressive in terms of style. Brentford's manager, Thomas Frank, very, very good manager. But this is going to be a whole new level. Will he be able to stand up to it? You have to bear in mind, Jurgen Klopp was already at a high level, Champions League football, class squad, up against a Giants. And that's what he technically has done, coming over here against Man City. Giants in terms of a football team anyway, not necessarily a club. So the one on paper, in my eyes, and a lot of people do feel is best equipped for that, is Xabi Alonso.
I agree.
I think that's most people's pick. Actually, his history as well with Liverpool is so deep. You know, the 2005 Champions League final, the missed penalty, but then he comes back in and he smashes it in the back past Dida. So I think, you know, for me, it's the stars are aligning for him. But the only thing that I would worry about, Carter, is we did say this about Steven Gerrard when he did very well at Rangers. He then took on the Aston Villa job, completely failed at that. Let's be honest, you know, because Unai Emery's come in and just completely, with the same players, really transform that team, you know, to hopefully a top 4 team. If I'm honest, I would love to see Villa come into the top 4. Are we a little bit? I don't know. Are we a little bit easy on the trigger? Are we too quick and you know, a little bit thinking, okay, well, look, he's there now. Let's go and get him. Do you think that, or do you think actually no? He's tactically sound. He's doing a very good job, and actually, he's got his feet on the ground.
I think it's quite like interesting because everyone's going to have their own opinion. But if you look at some sort of like some of our managers, like Bob Paisley when he came in after he had no senior games as a head coach, like Pep come up from the under-21s and was Barcelona. And I think the sort of difference with Gerrard and Alonso is, obviously I wasn't there, we weren't there, but from what, like when I've like read The Athletic and stuff, a lot of the success sort of seemed to come from Michael Beale. And when he left Villa and he might have taken the Rangers job or the QPR job, when he left, that's when it all started to sort of capitulate. Because from what I've sort of read, Gerrard's not really a on the training ground like tactic manager. He's more like an overseer of everything. Like he's not on the trade. Like obviously sometimes he'll do stuff, but he's not working on the tactics, and he has a sort of coaches do that. And obviously Klopp has people like Pep Linders, but I think Alonso is more of like a brain, whereas like someone like Gerrard would probably be like a good sporting director, something like that. So I think it's quite interesting. But I do like Alonso. I think he's the right one, but I don't think people should be like turning their nose up at Thomas Frank. I'm not saying anyone has here, but it's like I used to work at Brentford at one point, and when I was there was like honestly speech. I thought I was listening to Klopp. Like he was speaking, he was so good. Like when you see all the community work, like it's very similar to Klopp. Like we've all sort of seen the videos recently of when a young lad comes over from Ireland, and it's that kind of stuff where I feel like he might not have the sort of star power to stand up to like criticism from maybe outlets, and like Gary Neville's going to be like, he's not big enough, he's not big enough to be Liverpool manager. But I think as a person, I think he's the most Klopp-like. And people need to remember that FSG, I think, only gave Klopp 2 or 3 year contract when he signed. Like he wasn't necessarily a sure thing. Like he'd had the bad end spell, and so I think it'll be interesting. I do think Alonso, but I would be very happy with Thomas Frank, although that is probably a bit of a risk in the other direction.
I think there's so many good shouts, actually. There's so many good shouts. Like I completely agree with Jen here. I don't think Klopp would leave. One, if he didn't know the replacement coming in was going to actually be a good replacement, because he wouldn't leave the club in that state. He's already said it. I think, I don't know. I think it's a done deal. I generally think that they've got somebody lined up, and that's where Klopp goes, okay, you've got someone lined up now. I've told them in November, let's remember, you know, he told the club in November he wants to leave. I generally think that now they've got someone, now he's announced it, because I can't see it being any other way, if I'm completely honest. Now, Arthur's also said that Pep Linders for the job. Pep is actually leaving to, he's leaving to promote his managerial career. He is leaving Liverpool, so therefore that rules him out as well. But he will be a manager somewhere else. So there is, quite a lot really of business going on. Jay Muse asks, why is Klopp's backroom staff all leaving as well? I just generally think that's the way. They're all going to go out with him. And I don't blame them at all. You got so many key players there. That does tend to happen, actually. When the manager leaves, all the staff go and they'll disintegrate outwards as well. We mentioned Thomas Franks. I'm a big fan of Thomas Franks. I'm a big fan of Robert De Zerbi as well. Roberto De Zerbi. Paul, Alonso, De Zerbi, Franks. Is there a spanner in the works? Could you see a Zidane coming in and doing something? Could you see a Jose Mourinho coming in and doing something? And we are still talking about elite managers, but could you see a wild card coming in?
I'm not really excited about De Zerbi like some people are. He has done well at Brighton, but I'm not so sure of his personality. And again, probably I rated Graham Potter so highly when he was there, and then when he left, I went to Chelsea. It was a total different scenario. So I don't know if I'm bitten by the Brighton bug, but I would prefer Thomas Frank 10 times over De Zerbi. As to some of the older recycled managers, I wouldn't even go with Carlo Ancelotti either. He's a fantastic manager, but he's coming towards the end. I think he's just relaxed and getting ready to go into retirement. So I want a manager that is, in late 40s, early 50s. I'm not sure how old Thomas Frank is, but I think he would make a perfect manager at Liverpool. I like how he plays his football. He doesn't have a ton of resources. He seems to play that same 4-3-3 high energy, high press with average at best players and seem to get the best out of them. And I just like his personality. I also think that somebody mentioned that Klopp wouldn't leave unless there was a successor in place. I probably agree with that too, because looking at it right now, maybe if we had won the quadruple, he would have bowed out at that time, right? But having not won it, he decided, let's give it one more shot. Then we were so bad after that it was hard for him to walk away at that point. So I think he's choosing this moment to leave quite well. And I would surprise if he's not the manager for German national team in another year or two. But outside of Thomas Frank, and I don't see anybody else in the English game that I would go for. So all my eggs right now are in Xabi Alonso's basket.
Yeah, I think most of us are, feeling that way. I think Alonso's the one, but if not, happily take on Franks or De Zerbi. And let's not forget, De Zerbi likes attacking football when he does fit that culture of Liverpool. I just want to say very quickly, thank you to Jen again donating the super stickers. We do really, really, really appreciate it on the Saturday Night Club and at LFC Transfer Room. So thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for joining us. If you can give us a like and a subscribe as well. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, which is a lot. So thank you all for joining us. Let's move on then, because it's not all doom and gloom. Liverpool is still in 4 competitions, and hopefully tomorrow's not Jurgen Klopp's last ever FA Cup game. The one thing that I did like, and I suppose we all expected, is that he'll never ever manage another Premier League club because he's ours. So let's look ahead then for tomorrow. Liverpool are unbeaten in the past 18 meetings with Norwich, which means Klopp is unbeaten in all of his meetings against Norwich since a 1-0 home loss in April 1994. Now, the title does say quiz night, and you know what? I was thinking, do I do a quiz? Because I'm so depressed and I'm so sad and everything's going to be so sad. Life goes on, and Liverpool Football Club will always live on. Get your pens and papers out, lads, because we're definitely going to do 3 rounds of the quiz. So I'll give you a couple of seconds. You and everyone else at home, get your pens, get your papers out. We are definitely doing a quiz. And that's the highlight of my week. That's how sad my life is. So, pens and papers. It's all about Liverpool and Norwich. All I'm going to do, though, because my connection's a little bit weird, I'm just going to very quickly put my Wi-Fi on rather than the connection. So if I dip out, I'll come back.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we are going to make this match related, and I think I've got this one on my phone. While I was waiting at the courier house, I suppose there's one good thing about the courier being late, is that I actually did manage to pick up a couple of quiz questions. So the first quiz question is this. Liverpool are unbeaten in their past 18 meetings with Norwich, as I mentioned, since the 1-0 home loss in April 1994. We've, by the way, won 16 and drawn 2. It's their longest current unbeaten run against any side. Now, Luis Suarez has a massive say in that, so cheers, Luis. But we have, not lost against anybody else. And poor old Norwich, they've taken the brunt of it. What I do want to know from all of you is there are 12 players who played for Liverpool in that 1994 game in April. I want to know how many of them can you name? So you've got to cast your mind back to 1994. Dean and Carter definitely probably weren't even born then, were you?
Oh my God, no.
Jesus.
Okay. It's going to be difficult.
You've definitely got to cast your names back to some big games. Yeah. And even for me looking at this, I was like, what? So I would say, a score of 3, 4, maybe even 5 would do that. So there are 15 players. So I will give you 1 minute. Okay. Everyone else at home, your 1 minute starts now, by the way. Okay. I am starting it on the stopwatch. There we go. Everybody else at home, please. Well, if your pen's not working, that's, tradesman. A good tradesman never blames his tools. Paul. Everyone at home, please don't press enter until we've obviously finished. Okay, because these guys will cheat. They will cheat and steal all of your answers. And you guys know more because you've got the internet. And these guys, I can see, they're not using the internet. It's fine. Okay, so what we're looking for, 1994, who played in that game. So, Vase, we lost the last time against Norwich 1-0 at home in April 1994. I need to know who was in that Liverpool team and who came on as the one substitute, because that was the time where we only had one substitute. Right, Paul, how many have you got?
I think I've got 6.
6, good score. Carter?
7, 8, 9. I've 10, but like 2 or 3 are like throwing names out there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because obviously what we'll do is the one who's got the most, we'll just go with you. And then you can tick as you go. Dean, how many have you got?
4, but yeah. No idea on this one. I know my era is basically like the end of the 1990s. I knew from then, but that's portion.
Okay. So we'll go with Carter first. And Vage, you've been warned once, twice, and 3 times. And remember, I accidentally kicked you off the chat, and I did actually do that by accident. But let's not press enter until stop saying stuff in the chat, please. Right. Carter, go on then, give us your 10.
So, Steve Finnan. Jamie Redknapp, Razor Ruddock, John Aldridge, Robbie
Steve
Fowler.
Finnan. Nope.
Yeah. Do you want me to keep going or go
Hang on,
back
wait,
for
you're
a
going too
second?
fast.
Oh no, I
Stop,
thought you had it. I thought you was putting it down.
Stop, you're going too quick. I've got to say yes or no because you've got to tick them off.
Oh, cool. So the second one's Jamie Redknapp.
Yes.
Neil Razor Ruddock.
Correct. Good shout.
This one I've got no idea when he played. John Aldridge. Robbie
No.
Fowler. Fowler? No. Or
Yep. God himself.
McManaman.
Yeah. Sorry. Hang on. I'm going to go back to my normal one. Hang on. Sorry. I'm just going to go back to the internet I had earlier. Sorry. For some reason, it's all cutting out. Right. Go on then, Carter. Start us again, please. Sorry. You've got Redknapp, Ruddock,
Aldridge, Fowler, McManaman. I don't know if I'll see that all right. I think last one said was McManaman. Then Stan Collymore. John Barnes.
No Collymore. You had Fowler though, so you're on 3.
John Barnes.
Yes, John Barnes.
Ian Rush.
Yep.
And I've got no idea when. David James.
5.
Yep, David James. I'm sure about David James.
Yes.
So 6.
Yeah. Right. 6. Yeah, it's a good score. That is. Paul, do you want to add any?
I think that's my 6. Did he say Ruddock, Barnes, James, Ian Rush? You missed that one.
I said Rush. I didn't. Oh, yeah, I said Rush. I said Rush.
Oh, you said Rush?
Yeah, he got Rush. Yeah, he got Rush.
Who did I miss out? And you got Redknapp, right?
Yeah.
Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was Don Hutchinson playing for Liverpool at that time?
Oh my gosh, he's pulled it out the bag. He came on as a substitute on the 75th minute. Yes, he did.
Okay. Okay. So that's my the only one that he didn't have what I have is Hutchinson. But I wasn't sure if he was playing for Liverpool.
So he finished with 6.
He was playing for Everton.
Yeah, no, he came on as a sub on the 75th minute. So I'll run through the squad and they can let us know how many.
What about, just popped in my mind, he used to play right back and he's always on ESPN FC right now.
Stevie Nicol.
Steve Nicol.
Yeah, correct. Steve Nicol was there.
Yeah.
I thought he was too old.
Yeah, fabulous. Right, listen, I'll run. No, he started, I think he was at centre-back because we had David James. This one is bonkers. Julian Dix was playing for us. Julian Dix, Ruddock, Nicol, Rob Jones, Barnes, Ronnie Whelan, Jamie Redknapp, Nigel Clough is the one who got substituted for Don Hutchinson. And obviously we had Rush and Fowler up top.
It's a long time ago, though.
Excellent. Oh, very long time. 1994. I was 7. So no memory whatsoever.
I was -1.
Paul, how many did you get? You was
6.
-1. You got 6, Carter?
6.
6 and 6, and Dean?
4.
4. That's not bad for a -1-year-old. Decent. Right. So Paul and Carter each get 3 points and Dean gets 2. Listen, let's keep going on then. So having won their first 3 FA Cup games against Liverpool, by the way, between 1909 and 1951, Norwich has been eliminated from their past 3 ties against the Reds. And Liverpool have only, every time that Liverpool have defeated at home Norwich, they've gone on to win the cup, which is twice. Okay, so the most recent and obviously 2022. So there are some good statistics around there. So there's good omens around there that I'm sure that we'll all be impressed with. Dean, let's go to you. There are rumours about Robertson, we saw come back on the bench. There are rumours about Trent coming back. Who would you have as your starting 4 in that defence? And let's say, does Alisson play? Does Kelleher play? What happens?
I think Alisson plays. He played in the last round. I think Kelleher has the League Cup, to be honest. And I think Alisson. I think it happened last season as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do think Alisson played in the FA Cup. Oh, sorry, when we won the FA Cup a couple of years ago, I think he played. The back 4, it's going to be quite intriguing. I think Bradley and Beck play and Trent will come on because this is probably the last game that Bradley's going to get majority minutes. I think Robertson will probably get 30 minutes. I think they're going to be very careful with him being out for 3 months. Trent might get more than Robertson because he's only been out for a couple of weeks. In terms of centre-backs, I think Konate will play, but it might only be a half. And we could potentially see Gomez at centre-back at some point, but Kwanzaa will be the other one, definitely. Kwanzaa will get 90 minutes in my eyes, surely. I think it just will rotate between Konate and Gomez, probably half each.
Yeah, and Virgil obviously played in the previous game. I think Kwanzaa should really be that starting centre back and playing the 90 minutes, and either Virgil or Konate rotate. Carter, do you agree with what Dean said?
Yeah, I definitely think like Beck and Bradley should play, but I think the issue is that you don't want to, no matter who you're playing, like we've played cup games, we change the team too much. And especially when we're playing out, I think maybe you go Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Bradley and Beck. And then you have the option of bringing Joe Gomez on like centre half of Van Dijk, or you can move him into one of the fullbacks or maybe you start Gomez instead of one of the 2 young lads. I just think we don't need to take any risk. We don't need to leave the game to the end, put like a decent solid team out, go out, win the game in the first 45. And then you can let like some of the other youngsters come on like Cade Gordon and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah, I think, Arthur says as well that, Gomez is nailed down that left back position for me. I think Robertson's going to have to fight and Gomez is going to have to dip in form to wrestle his left back position away, because I think Gomez has been sensational this season. He is the unsung hero for me. Paul, who do you start in goal then? Do you start Alisson or do you start Kelleher?
Well, I would start Kelleher, but I think Klopp is going to start Alisson because I think Klopp promised the League Cup to Kelleher and Alisson, everything else. So I think Alisson will start, even though, as I said, I would start Kelleher. Across the back line, I would be surprised if Gomez doesn't feature. So if I was picking the team to start, well, first of all, this is a game that we will use all 5 subs, in my opinion, regardless of the score. So I would not be surprised to see Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez at the centre-back positions with Bradley right back and probably Robbo get a start at left. If not, you can start the young lad there, Owen Beck, and bring on Robbo in the second half. But I expect to see Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez at the centre-back. Konate has been one of our best defenders, close to Virgil. We also know that Konate has a little bit spotty fitness record. So a game like this, if we don't have to play Konate, especially with Chelsea and Arsenal coming up, I probably would prefer to see Konate just sit on the bench this weekend and just relax and play the youngsters. So I would expect to see Gomez and Kwanzaa, and then either Robertson or Beck on the left, and definitely the other young guy at the right hand side, the right back.
Connor Bradley.
Right.
Let's moving towards the midfield. Curtis Jones is the player who has the most FA Cup appearances with 14, more so than any current Liverpool player in that competition in the squad. How does that midfield look, Dean? Do you think that midfield stays how it is in that set 3? Obviously, McAllister playing as the 6, and we did see or might see Szoboszlai coming back in. it's a big game against Chelsea. Let's not kid ourselves. You know, Chelsea are on the march, and Pochettino does look like, with the time that he's had, they do look a better team than what they did at the start of the season. So, do certain players need to be coming back in to get ready for Chelsea, do you think, in that midfield?
Yeah, and then we got also managed minutes of, especially like McAllister, because Endo's away. We've got very limited options in that six, let's be honest. I know we could use Trent potentially, but it's whether he comes in as a right back or not. We'll have to wait and see. Personally, I would start Maka for at least a half and then have Clark in there. Because by the going on what Jurgen was saying, he's big praise for him. It looks like he might get a start in this, especially being at Anfield. So I won't be surprised if it was Maka, Clark, and then maybe either Gravenberch or Jones, and then switch it up at half time. So a blend of youth and a bit of experience, also not changing it too much because we're having Maka in there for a bit of balance. So it'd be quite interesting because we actually got some options for a change. But second half, I can definitely see Szoboszlai getting thrown in, and they could even have Elliott or the other of Jones or Gravenberch who doesn't start, basically.
Yeah, I think Bobby Clark is definitely one for the future. And this is the devastating thing, not to go back to it too much about Jurgen Klopp, but the academy players are coming through now. They look so good. You've got Bradley, you've got Beck, you've got Clark already. You know, it just feels like the whole club is set up to go on for years and years. Carter, who's your midfield three? I'm assuming it's a three.
I think that I would go for McAllister, Gravenberch, Elliott, because I don't think Elliott's going to see loads and loads of midfield minutes. I know he was absolutely shattered after the Fulham game, but you've got to give him minutes where you can, and I think this is an opportunity for him to get a full 90. Like, also Gravenberch, I think he looked more impressive against Fulham, like in sort of driving the ball up the pitch, and I think we just don't have anyone else instead of McAllister. Like, I think no matter what they're Norwich, we still got to show respect, and I'd rather us bring on sort of in players are coming back from injury when we're 3-0 up, rather than going, we've gone down 1-0 here, and now we've got to throw everyone on, and it's just not needed. We should be fine either way, but I just think respect and put out a good team, keep some rhythm going, keep building confidence, because it's like someone like Gravenberch, if he goes in and plays with Bobby Clark and Harvey Elliott, that's a midfield he's never played in before. He's got a lot of responsibility there, and that might knock his confidence. And I think for someone like him and certain players, it's important to build and give them like a stable foundation to kick on from for the next few games.
Yeah, and I completely agree as well. I think Elliott's minutes, they're not numbered by any stretch of imagination. I think he's such an impact sub to come on. We saw that against Palace. You know, I just think that, yeah, he deserves the minutes, and so did Gravenberch to keep his development going. So I completely agree. Paul, what is it about Curtis Jones, I suppose, in the past, I don't know, year? I think that's really caught your eye, because he is now such an integral player. He does remind me a little bit of a Genie hybrid. You know, he isn't the attacking player. He's not the left-hand side player that he first was. He does, for me, he seems like that Genie Wijnaldum hybrid that can just transition play, does the running in between the lines, plays the ball in between the lines. What is it about Curtis Jones, if anything, that's impressed you? Because he's certainly impressed me.
Well, it's clear that he has the confidence of the manager. It's clear that the manager is encouraging him to play. He, outside of Joe Gomez, he's probably the most versatile member of the squad, because he can play in multiple positions. He can play the 6, he can play either side of the 8, and he can even play left wing in a pitch. Plus, he's one of the midfielders who will pop up with a goal, always have that run into the box. So he is he's very versatile. And plus, one of the things that people don't realize, that his passing accuracy is top, right? He doesn't lose. I don't think he's really a 6. As you know, we like to talk about destroy a 6, but he can play a 6 because his ball control is very good. His passing accuracy is very good, and he has deceptive speed. So it's kind of funny, because I'm thinking that Curtis Jones should be in our best 11, even when everybody's fit. But then when you look at the other players that he's competed with, it's going to be tough. But he definitely is one that will have a long career at Liverpool. And I mean, and to think that some of us wanted to sell him a year or two ago, even me wanted to sell him. So I'm a little bit embarrassed to be saying that right now, but he is a top player now. I'm just looking to see if he'll be rewarded by Southgate for a call up for the England team for the Euros. Not hopeful, because I don't think that that's smart, but I think he deserves a shot.
Yeah, I listen. Southgate don't know his arse from his elbow, so I shouldn't hold out much hope there. He should be calling up Gomez and Jones, and he should be playing Trent as right back, but he won't. So let's not talk about England, because it does infuriate me. Right, next round of the quiz. Then get your pens and papers ready. I'm only going to give you a 30 seconds.
Give me a sec. Let me get that pen. Give me a sec.
Oh, okay. You go and find that pen then. That 30 seconds is obviously now dwindling. What I will wait for Paul to come back with. But Liverpool Norwich always produces lots and lots of goals. And it is a game that does promise goals, if I'm honest. I can't see this being a low scoring game. I think if you're a betting man, you probably bet over 3.5 goals. You know, especially with our front three that I'll get onto in a little while. But Dean, while Paul's... Oh, he's back. He's coming back. There he is. Right, okay. So we are talking about Liverpool players with the most goals, but I'll also credit the Norwich players with the most goals too. And I will give you 30 seconds. Or actually, I really need a wee. So by the time that I go for a wee and come back again, you will have time to say the top 5 Liverpool players with the most goals against Norwich, or the top 5 Norwich players with the most goals against Liverpool. Okay, you have until the time that I come back for a wee. Please, nobody else put anything into the chat, because these guys will cheat. All right, but I'll be back in 2 ticks. Well, there we go. That's better. Right. Okay. What have you got then, lads? Paul, how many have you got? Because obviously we'll go with how many first. We could go for the top 5 Norwich players with the most goals against Liverpool, or the top 5 Liverpool players with the most goals. Jay, actually, funnily enough, I've had one of those before, and it just ends up spraying everywhere. So it's just a waste of time. Paul, how many have you got?
For Norwich, I only have one player that I think I'm pretty sure is in that top 5. I'm not really a Norwich fan. For Liverpool, I wrote down 4 names here, but they're just guesses, actually. For the Norwich guy, I have...
so you've got 5.
5, yeah.
Hang on, wait, stop. You can't tell anyone, because they'll nick them. Right, Carl.
Okay.
Sorry. Carter, how many have you got?
So I guessed 5 Liverpool, and I guessed 5 Norwich. Well, no, yeah, 5 Norwich. I just guessed 5 of each.
Okay, so you've got 10. Dean, how many have you got?
I've got 5 Liverpool and 1 Norwich, because I had no idea for Norwich. I'm not gonna lie.
I bet you we have the same Norwich player.
Okay, yeah, well,
Probably.
Dear, well, let's start with the say. What Norwich player have you got then? Because I don't know any of these.
Oh,
Me?
well, I was wrong then.
Oh, Pookie, Timo Pookie.
No, Timo Pukki's not in there.
Oh, well,
I had Grant Holt for the
Dean?
Norwich play.
I had Grant Holt as well.
No, right, okay, I'll give you the Norwich players first. Give yourself a tick when you've got it. Martin Peters, Terry Alcock, Robert Fleck, Kevin Reeves, and Colin Surjette. Anyone got anyone? No?
No.
I'll give you treble points if you have.
No.
Right, Liverpool players then. It should be really easy. It should be pretty simple, shouldn't it, really? Because
well, number
this
one
man
is
absolutely
obvious.
loved playing against Norwich. He tops the charts.
Yep.
Yeah, Luis Suarez scored 12 goals in 6 appearances.
Yep, everybody have
against
that.
Norwich. 2 goals per game on average. Yeah, no, absolutely sensational. Ian Rush comes in second,
Yep,
who
I have
has
that.
9 goals in 21 appearances. King Kenny has 7 goals in 18. David Fairclough, which is one to raise your eyebrows, has 7 in 8. And David Johnson has 6 in 7. So
Oh,
I looked at that earlier actually today, like I said, when I was waiting for the curry. And I thought, oh, yeah, top 3 easy. And I was quite surprised actually about Fairclough and Johnson. So, Paul, how many did you get?
just got Suarez and Rush. So just 2.
So 2 points for you. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Carter?
I got one. I'll be totally honest. I am shocked that Ian Rush has played against Norwich 21 times. I thought it was just going to be modern players.
Yeah,
But,
they used to be a big
I've,
tick.
I've just got Suarez.
Yeah, no. Like, yeah, no, Rush, Dalglish, etc. I think Norwich, when they were obviously in the top tier Division 1, I think it was called then. Obviously, Norwich was pretty high up. Dean?
I got the same as Paul. Rush and Suarez.
Okay, so then that puts Paul on 6, Dean on 5, and Carter on 5 as well. So going into the final round, that is quite tasty. Right, up top then, let's talk about this Liverpool attack, because if there is one thing that Jurgen Klopp is renowned for, it is his talent in attacking players. It wasn't just Liverpool that he's been like branded as a top attacking manager. He is the one who brought Lewandowski to the fold. He's the one who brought Marco Reus to the fold, you know, and that's not even mentioned in our famous front three of Bobby, Sadio, and Salah, without mentioning Gakpo and Diaz and Nunez, obviously, too. So, Dean, who are your front three who is going to be starting against Norwich?
I'm purely basing this off the subs that were made against Fulham. Well, mainly anyway. I think Nunez starts up front. I think Gakpo plays on the left. I'm just struggling on the right side. I'm stuck between Elliott and Gordon getting a run. But I'm going to say Elliott just has a gut instinct.
Elliot on that right-hand side, I know he doesn't offer what Salah does, but I love the fact that he cuts in. He plays as that 10. I just think he's absolutely lethal, and I wouldn't mind him actually playing there on that right-hand side. We do have Chelsea, remember. So, you know, Diaz is coming back into form. He looks sensational. Either way for me, I think Diaz either plays 60 or 30, and then it's tricky, isn't it? Because we've got Chelsea and then Arsenal in quick succession. You want Diaz on that right-hand side. Carter, what is it for you?
I think I go Gakpo left wing, Nunez up front, Gordon on the right. I think Gakpo just give him some more minutes, just a bit of rhythm. Hopefully, maybe he can get some goals. I think Shota doesn't need to stay in the team for this game. But I think Nunez more, if he can just put the ball in the back of the net and just keep growing the confidence, I think that's a big thing. And I think Gordon, I think if Dope was fit, because obviously Gordon's not really featured much since coming back from sort of that long hiatus, I think Gordon deserves a game. Like if Gordon can play in the semi-final of the Carabao or FA Cup, whatever one, like he's got to be able to play against Norwich. Like if he can't get in and get some minutes in this type of game, I do sort of worry for him a bit now if he's not able to get a start in these type of games.
Yeah, same. I mean, he's obviously coming back from a lengthy injury, isn't he? And he does look, or did look beforehand, like the real deal. I'd love to see Kate Gordon start there on that right-hand side. And I completely agree with you. I think that Gakpo through the middle, that's, you know, to build his confidence, to come in. I don't think Jota needs to start. I don't think Darwin Núñez needs to start either. Paul, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not a fan of Harvey Elliott playing the right wing, I must admit. Elliott has to start, but I want to see him in midfield. Somehow it just doesn't look the same when he's on that right-hand side playing the wing. So I'm agreeing with the Kid Gordon shout. I think we should see him tomorrow, and Gapco definitely will start. So it's just a matter of the other 90 minutes being split equally between Núñez and Jota. Doesn't matter who played first half, but I think they will each will play 45 minutes. But I expect Cody Gapco and Kid Gordon to play on either side.
Yeah, I'd love to see some more youngsters come through, if I'm honest. I you know, whoever starts, there's so much off the bench you can come on. Hopefully it won't be needed. Hopefully we'll see a couple of youngsters coming on, which does bring me to my match predictions. Jay has already gone all out and said 3-1 Liverpool. Dean, what's your prediction?
I'll go 4-1. I do think
any goal scorers. You don't have to say all the goal scorers, just any.
I'll go Núñez 2. I'm going to say Diaz as a sub, and then I'm going to tell you what. I'll go left wing on this. I'll say Bobby Clark grabs one. Why not?
Yeah, nice, good. Carter.
I'll say if we start Kelleher, I think it's 4-2. If we start Allison, I think it's 4-0. Not to like this Kelleher, but
no, but listen, there's levels, and I think that I think people need to realise that every single like reserve goalkeeper is not going to be, you know, a Casillas, or they're not going to be, you know, an Alisson Becker. You know, like there are levels, and there's a reason why you are behind that player. So I don't think that's a slight on Kelleher. Any goal scorers?
I might say I think Gravenberch hasn't got one for a bit. I think he'll get one. I think Elliott's very sort of comfy against championship opposition. And I might go Bradley and Gakpo. So I can't remember. I said Gakpo, Grav, Harvey, and Bradley.
Nice. Paul?
I think we're going to be very comfortable. I'm pretty good. 5-0. And goal scorers, how about 25-1 odds, Joe Gomez? First goal. I mean, it would be sad to see a guy like Conor Bradley just come into the team and score a goal. And Gomez have been around for like 20 years and still looking for his first goal. So I desperately want Joe Gomez to score, and definitely to score his first goal before these youngsters started to put in the ball in the back of the net. Especially these two fullbacks that are coming up. So tomorrow is the day. 5-0, and Joe Gomez gets his first goal. And it won't be a scrappy goal either. It's going to be something from outside of the box in the top bins. Watch it. He deserves
I
it,
think
man.
I genuinely think he's going to score. Yeah, I think he'll score a screamer. I'd love him to do a company though. You know, a Vincent Kompany against Leicester. You know, just absolute to seal the title. Poof, straight in the top corner. I think it's going to be something special. I don't want him really to score a goal against Norwich, actually, if I'm honest, because I think he deserves better. And that's no slight. Well, it is a slight on Norwich, I suppose. I'll go 4-0 then. Elliott will definitely score. Gakpo will score. And I'll go Gravenberch and McAllister as well, because I think he's got a goal in him. He's an absolute thunder bastard, isn't he? So, listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do one more round of the quiz. All right, we'll do one more round for everybody else because it's 655 and I can't leave it at 655. That's far too close. So what I'm going to do, it's my favourite actual round of the quiz, and this one's really hard. I'm I'm looking for double agents. Okay, so double agents are people who play for Liverpool and Norwich. Now there are plenty. Yeah,
Really?
there are plenty, but it's actually quite hard. But when I
in the last 20 years,
so I looked at this earlier. Yeah, I looked at this earlier. There's actually 4 or 5 players. Yeah, there's actually 4 or 5 players here that you would definitely recognise, like 100%. And I didn't realise it either. So, 1 minute, double agents, because I definitely need my curry. Like, I've not even eaten. I'm absolutely starving. I know, look, Jay said we ordered a curry. You know, I'm trying to eat mine. You've got 1 minute that starts now. I'm looking for double agents, so players who have played for Liverpool and for Norwich. Okay, and I think, as I said, like some of them are so funny because you just wouldn't have put them together. But anyway, you've got as many as like 40 seconds.
Only one name I can think of, and I'm not even sure if it's correct.
That's right. You can have as many as you want. I'll list them and then.
Peter Crouch. Is he one?
You can't say him yet. Time's not up.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else actually. I'm stumped with this one.
It's all right. They'll nick your answer. He was one of them. So.
Oh, really?
Cheers, Paul.
Peter Crouch. Don Hutchinson. No, he plays for Liverpool and Everton. Bellamy? Craig Bellamy? No.
We're not finished yet, Paul. Stop giving all the answers away.
Sorry.
Go on, Paul, carry on. It's fine.
Sorry.
Right, you got 20 seconds. Right, okay, time's up. Yeah. So,
I have three
double
names.
agents who played for Norwich. You have 3 names. Okay, well, Paul, you gave 2 of them away.
They're correct? So my 3 names are Peter Crouch,
I'll go through the double agents. Listen,
Craig
give
Bellamy
yourself a tick. All right.
And Hutchinson.
I know. Yeah, Well, okay. Well, Peter Crouch and Craig Bellamy are both correct. So I hope Dean and Carter, you wrote those down. I'll go through the double agents. Danny Ayala, Craig Bellamy, Sergi Canos, who actually went for 4.5 million, Peter Crouch, David Fairclough, Dave Hodgins. The one that I was just like, I knew about, Ozan Kabak, Doug Livermore, Norman Lowe, Jan Mulvey, like Liverpool captain, John Ostenbaugh, Danny Pacheco. Danny Pacheco.
Oh,
actually, I
did the wrong
JJB, when I was at. Who do you have?
I did Joey Texiera. I got him mixed up. You know the Portuguese guy. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You get Reading or something.
Yeah, Danny Pacheco.
Did Hutchinson didn't play for Norwich?
Danny Pacheco. I just remember him because he was number 47. I'm still going for him, but I just like Danny Pacheco used to. So I actually on the a black shirt. I remember a Liverpool black shirt with the white yellow collar, and I used to work at JJB, and I took my actual shirt in when I used to work at Winchester's JJB. And if anyone's listening, well, JJB shut down now, so I don't give a shit. I just took my shirt in and like put Pacheco 47 on it, like steamed it and whatever. I was like, oh, this boy's he's going to be the next big thing. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But I did steal some print in there. So JJB, you went bankrupt. Do not sue me. It wasn't my fault. Tony Warner was another one, and Andre Wisdom.
Oh no.
So, Dean, how many did you get?
3. 2 thanks to Paul, though. I got Kanyos, Crouch, and Bellamy.
Carter?
I'm just checking because I don't know if I heard you start. Did you say you didn't say Thiago
So 3,
Ilori
good.
or Emmanuel Insua?
Paul?
I just got 2, Peter Crouch and Craig Bellamy. I'm sure about those, but I don't know why I think that Don Hutchison played for Norwich.
No, I didn't. Should I have said that?
So I got 2 then.
No, I didn't. Carter, should I have said those 2?
Well, no, I don't know. No, I said, did you say, because I didn't hear one of the first names you said. I didn't know because it sounded a bit like Thiago-y, Elor, something like that, but I don't know. But I have
Carter,
2
it's
if
not
that one's
coming
not
up
right.
as on lfchistory.com, which is where I get
no
all
worries.
of my information from.
No worries. I am 2 then. I just didn't know if I heard you say it at the start. I'm just 2, just Crouch and Bellamy.
Yeah, no, Thiago. Look, okay, yeah, okay. So let's go around the houses then. Dean, how many did you get?
3.
3. You might have stolen it then, Carter.
I've got 2. Just Crouch and Bellamy.
Oh, good grief, Paul.
Yeah, I just got the 2 that I gave to Dean.
I do feel bad.
So I think Dean might have stolen it at the end because of Paul giving the answers. Brilliant. That's drama, that is. So Dean steals it at the end.
That's own goals.
Yeah, they are 2 own goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Shame we didn't say Jamie Carragher. He was the king of own goals. Listen, thank you all. We've gone over an hour, which is far, far too long. So I'm so sorry for Paul and Carter and Dean for staying with us for an over an hour, because that is far, far too young, far too long. But Dean, the good thing is, as the comment comes up, you get a new robe.
Woo! Do a clock one, please.
Yeah, I know. Get a Germany one. I'll tell you what is going to be so funny. Like, people used to hate Scousers in England as it is. Imagine when Klopp takes over Germany and we all start supporting Germany over England. Oh, I cannot wait until that bloodshed happens. Listen, we are going to call it a night. I definitely need my curry. And thank you so much for Paul, for Carter and Dean for joining me, and everybody else for joining us on the stream. Do hit the likes, do hit the comments, and do obviously subscribe as well. But from now and forever, a massive, massive win tomorrow for the Reds. And I suppose the best thing that we can say now is, I'll be the same.